Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm hanging out here with my very good friend Trey Xavier from the show Gear Gods, and today we are going to look at 7 ways to practice your instrument.
I noticed that a lot of people don't know how to practice their instrument, really. So then they get to the studio and they can't do it, and you're like, why didn't you practice? And they just don't really know how.
Exactly. I call them bass players.
Yeah, and it's more than just playing the song. There's way more to it.
Sure.
So let's show them how.
Okay, so coming in at number 7 is really simple, actually. It's play your instrument, not video games.
Yeah, I love video games, and
I do too.
when I have the time, I'll go ham on some Metroid Prime, but when it's time to practice, it's worth so much more to your life, to your career, to sit down and really focus on getting better at the songs.
Yeah, exactly.
And at your instrument.
I mean, like, I've been a gamer for years. My wife's a gamer. I mean, like, we met playing video games on the Commodore 64 about 1 million years ago, if it tells you how old I am. Point being is, yes, I've been a lifelong gamer. I played the original Elite, and, I love Elite Dangerous when I can play it. But
you played text-based adventures when you had to chisel each thing into a piece of stone and mail it in.
Pretty much, yes, exactly. My point being is this: even though I love video games, I got to play Fallout 4 for an hour this year. I got to play Kerbal Space Program for about 45 minutes this year. The reason being is because I wanted to get good at YouTube, not good at playing video games.
Yeah.
You have to make choices.
Yeah. And, if you don't want to be that great at your instrument, that's fine. You can get better at video games. But it's a lot more rewarding, I think, to improve at your instrument, which is going to be a life skill. When you take a break, go and play some video games for a half hour.
Sure.
To take a break in between your 8 hours of practicing.
Don't play Civ because you won't be able to play it for a half hour. Oh. Just one more turn, just one more turn, just one more turn.
Yeah, and no World of Warcraft under any circumstances. 0. I have seen people go from skinny as shit to fat as hell playing World of Warcraft and lose years of their life. Years!
Number 6, Facebook is the enemy. Okay, I'm guilty of this big time. I mean, like when I'm editing or something on YouTube, I'll click on Facebook for a split second to maybe send a message or something. Next thing I know, I'm looking up, rampaging gun debates and, what color a dress is and just complete total nonsense bullshit, dragging me away from what my attention really needs to be on, and that's making quality content for you guys. The same thing applies to you guys practicing your instrument at home.
It's designed to suck you in, and it does that by...
That's what she said.
That's what she said. And she'd be right, Glenn. It's there to present interesting things to you, like super rapid fire. But, you go on there and you're like, oh, I'm going to watch this cool video of a guy doing something amazing. Like, no, be that guy. You be the guy making that video, and you can't do that unless you are focused.
Exactly. The way to stay focused is turn off your fucking phone.
Yeah. Airplane mode, dog. Airplane mode.
Yes, you can still use apps. That's fine, because there's a lot of cool music apps, but go on to airplane mode. You are absolutely correct. Fucking right, man. Great idea.
Fucking right.
And that brings us up to number 5. Practice with a metronome. Go.
It's not just that you should have a clicking sound going while you're playing, okay? Here's what I do. This is a very specific method that's going to take you from doing okay and maybe playing the part to just absolutely crushing it at high speeds. And it's pretty simple, okay? You treat it like a video game. You don't get to advance to the next BPM until you can play it perfectly 3 times in a row at whatever speed you're playing it at, okay? So let's say the tempo you're trying to get to is 140, okay? You can play it, let's say you can play it just killer at 100 BPM, okay? But you can't play it perfectly, then you don't get to advance to 110 or 105, okay? So you play it at 100 until you can play it so perfectly that you can do it in your sleep, you can do it with your eyes closed, okay? And you're just sick and tired of it. Then you bump it up 5 BPM and repeat. And you have to be self-disciplined. You can't just be like, oh, okay, that's pretty good, okay? Because number 1, this is gonna take you to the speed that you want it to be at 10 times faster than just trying to slop your way through it and trying to go really hard. Because you could do this over the course of an hour and get up to speed, and you're gonna be like, crap, now I have time to play video games.
Well, there you go.
And that's the goal, right? You wanna get to the point where you have enough time to do something else.
Trey's upset because the Gear Gods thing went down. Anyway, seriously, if you have a minute, head on over to Gear Gods and check out his channel. He's at like 95,000 subscribers. He's looking for that magic 5,000 more. He wants to crack that 100,000 mark. He really deserves it. He's been working his ass off. His show's great. He's got a lot of wonderful info there. Check him out. He's awesome.
Thanks, man.
Number 4, learn the whole song.
You gotta learn the whole song, guys. Like, I know, especially guitar players have this problem where we'll learn the riff to the song. You know, everybody can play like, and nobody bothered to learn the rest of it. You got to be able to play the whole thing from start to finish, especially if it's your own material. This is a serious problem. I've seen this rampant.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
People sit down and record a song piecemeal, and then they can't really play it start to finish. And, you know, I'm guilty of this as anyone else, but guitar players especially, don't just learn each individual part. Even if you've learned every part, that doesn't mean that you can play the whole thing. Same thing like with the metronome, okay? You go start to finish the whole song all the way through until you can play it perfectly at the tempo that you need to. Like, even if you have to slow the song down with some kind of app or program to bring it down to a speed where you can play it just and make it sound awesome. I read the Eric Clapton autobiography, and that's how he did it. That's how he went from being some kid with a guitar to being Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
And that's all he did was sit down and ape his favorite players at half speed until he got it perfect.
Number 3, practice with the best. And this is just kind of reinforcing what we were just saying there. I mean, like, my practice regimen back in the 80s was like to put on Priest Live, which came out in like 87 or something like that. And that was like from the Turbo Tour. But they played all their modern hits and a lot of their earlier stuff as well. And be able to play that whole record front to back, you know, that took a lot of work, that took a lot of practice, that took a lot of effort, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And so find your favorite record and learn how to play it. Go put on like Megadeth Rust in Peace. Learn how to play everything on that record. That'll take you a while. It will definitely make you a far better guitar player. It's
kind of the fun part of your practice when you get to actually just play. So if you can play along to this kind of stuff, then that's like your kind of like your reward. You know, maybe save it till the end of your practice time and just play through a couple songs.
But learn the song all the way through, not just part of the way.
And don't space out in the middle.
Number 2, prioritize what needs the most work.
Practice is there for you to improve, not just so that you can reinforce stuff that you already know how to play. And it's a big mistake and a common beginner mistake to just play stuff that feels good because you already know how to play it. And, you know, that doesn't, you're going to come out of your practice session no better than when you went in.
Exactly. You need to get out of your comfort zone and work on things that you need to work on. Like you were talking about pick strength.
Yeah. So like, for instance, I feel like I need to pick harder. I just don't pick hard enough. I see a lot of players that I love, that I want to sound like, and I realize that they all pick super hard. Like Wes Hauck.
You watch Zach Wilde pick? I mean, he's just killing those strings.
You know, and I've felt the fist of the Wild to the face. So I know where he's got the strength and I want to be that good. So when I sit down to practice, I work on that first and I really go hard at it. And I don't want, like, I don't go and play songs that I already know or parts that I'm already good at.
Right.
I just work on that, at least to start. So a lot of people don't have a ton of time to practice, and that's just the reality of living in 2018. Everybody's busy. You gotta
playing video games and fucking run on Facebook and Snapchatting and Instagramming and all the rest of shit.
You gotta maximize your practice time. Don't just play stuff that makes you happy. Work on something that's gonna make it easier for you to play lots of things that will make you happy.
And number 1, record yourself.
Yeah, you gotta record yourself so that you can have honest feedback about your playing. Because you know, you while you're sitting there playing, you're not getting really accurate monitoring of stuff like your rhythm and tone and just your overall performance, and you have to be able to be really honest with yourself about whether or not it sounds good. I don't feel like I got rhythmically tight as a player until I sat down and recorded myself in Pro Tools, where you can see and this is any DAW, you can do this. You can see the grid.
Reaper's free to get.
And you can see where each hit is that you did, in relation to the bar line. And if you're, early, if you're late, if you're dead on, and it feels real good to start getting it dead on every time, and so then you know that your playing is tight.
Okay, so there you go. That's 7 ways to practice. So please take that to heart. Go home, practice your freaking instruments. In the meantime, go check out Trey's channel. And don't forget to grab my premium lesson, Producing Prog Metal. That's available in the Pro Mix Academy store, and that link is in the description below. Check it out. That's how you improve your mixing skills. Anyway, thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.